Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great weekend. Thank you so much for stopping by. Now today for my Countdown to Christmas series, we're going to make 2 cards using this stamp set. This is a stamp set called Tidings from Stampendous. It's a cling stamp and it does come with the coordinating dies, which are fun. I picked this up at Michael's and I know that most of your favorite craft stores will carry it. I'll leave a link below to where you can check it out. But what I love about this stamp set is that it's versatile. I'm going to be making 2 Christmas cards today, but the images in here, you can make a cute little masculine birthday card or even a Father's Day card using that truck. So I love when a stamp set is versatile. Now we're going to go ahead and stamp our images. I'm using my stamp platform here and I'm going to grab my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. It's alcohol friendly ink and I'm going to be coloring in these images with my alcohol markers, and so this ink is alcohol marker friendly. Now I'm going to play some music while I color these little images in, and I will catch you back when I'm all finished. Okay, I have all my images colored in. They're very easy to color in. Now I'm going to take the coordinating dies and cut them out. Now these dies are nice because they cut all the way to the edge of your stamped image, so you don't have any white border on them. And I didn't know it, but it did cut out that little truck window, which I thought was the cutest. It didn't cut out that little one, so I'm just going to take my craft knife and cut that out. I thought this truck was just so fun. Now once I have that done, I'm going to flip it over and I have a piece of acetate. I'm just going to add some of my multimedia matte and glue my acetate down to it. Now I kind of made a mess with my my multimedia matte. You can see it's smeared all over my acetate. But when I was looking at it, I thought it kind of looked like frost, so I just left it on there. I'm going in with, this is Vintage Photo Distress ink. I'm just getting rid of my harsh white edges around my stamped images, and using my Vintage Photo Distress ink works great. It's fast and it's easy, and I know I won't make any errors. I'm going to do that to the Christmas tree as well. Okay, lovely. Now I thought for my Christmas tree bulbs, instead of doing a multicolor, I'm going to just dot them all with some Simply White Nouveau Crystal Drops. I think this is a great way to add dimension, but it didn't add too much color, which I liked. I'm going to set those aside to dry. And this is actually a Stardust pen, and it's really concentrated glitter, and so I'm just going to go around my presents and add a little bit of glitter accents to them. You can see the little shimmer there. There we go. But that little shimmer pen sure does have a lot of shine to it. And so while I had it out, I thought I'll go over my little truck light and give my little hubcaps some shine. Or are they hubcaps or are they rims? I don't know, but I'm sure these cards are kind of on the masculine side, so I'm sure your loved one guy would like this. Okay, we're going to set those aside and let that dry. We can see the dimension that those little dots add. Now I'm going to take a piece of gray cardstock and I'm going to cut out a 1-inch strip. And then for my stash, I have this. This is a embossing folder. It's from Cuttlebug. It's the gingham embossing folder. I'm just going to run that through and cut out or emboss that little panel. And then also, this is a background die, and it's from Gina Marie Designs, and it's called Falling Snow background die. And I thought it'd be fun to add this little panel to my card, give my background a little bit of texture. So I just cut that out with white cardstock, and then I embossed my little gray cardstock there too. Now I'm going to add my embossed cardstock to my panel there towards the bottom, and this is kind of like a landing area for my truck, something for my truck to sit on. I'm using my grid mat just to get it straight. And then I thought before I go any further I need to stamp my sentiment, and since there was holes in my background, I thought I'd just take a circle die and cut out a circle out of that background. And then this way I can just stamp my sentiment directly on my card base. So now I'm going to go back and adhere my little gray cardstock here. Okay, make sure I get it straight, then I'm going to trim off the excess there. Okay, now I am going to use a black card base for this card. So I'm just going to take a pencil and draw around that circle. That way I know exactly where to stamp my sentiment. I'm just going to stamp my sentiment with some Versamark ink. So I need my anti-static patter tool. I'm going to go just around that circle and stamp my sentiment right in the center of that. I'm going to grab my my Nuvo Classic White Embossing Powder, no, Glacier White Embossing Powder. Just add that to my sentiment, and then I'm going to go ahead and heat set that. Just going to erase my pencil mark there, and then using my hand, I'm just going to rub off that embossing powder, the anti-static powder. So there's my sentiment, and my panel should fit perfectly in the center there. Okay, now we need to build our scene. I'm going to pop up my truck here with some dimensional adhesive, and then also I'm going to place his wheels right in the bottom of that gray cardstock there. And then I'm going to grab my Christmas tree. Not sure where to put it, but I think towards the end would balance it well. And then I'm going to add my presents too. I'm just going to put some dimensional adhesive behind there as well. So our scene's done here. Now I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to add some dimensional or some foam tape behind it. But I wanted to be really careful not to hit any one of those die cut circles because I wanted the black to show through. I'm just going to place that in the center of my card base. And I think that looks so fun. Of course, you can add a piece of white cardstock on the inside to write your sentiment, or you could use white gel pen for your sentiment or your message on the inside of the card. Now, of course, I need a little more shimmer, so I went in with my silver stickles, and then I'm adding some glossy accents to the headlight on the truck, and then those hubcaps slash rims, and then also to the presents. So that's card number 1. Okay, now for card number 2, I love paper piecing, so I grabbed, this is the Merry Merry Christmas pad from American Crafts. And so, actually, no, Merry Merry from Pebbles, sorry. But I I grabbed some pattern papers here, and I cut out a panel with the checkerboard one. And since we're going to do paper piecing, I'm going to stamp my presents on, there's 4 presents, so I want them to be different patterns, so I'm going to stamp my presents 4 times. And I'm debating, because I have the Christmas tree to stamp too, so I'm just debating which green pattern paper to use. Okay. Now, once we have that done, I'm going to stamp my Christmas tree on the other green pattern paper here. And then for the truck, we're going to make a very unconventional red polka dotted truck. I figured if there's pink Cadillacs out there, we can have a red polka dot truck. So I'm going to stamp my image on that as well. Now I'm taking a piece of white cardstock, and then use to stamp all of these images, I just use my VersaFine ink. I'm going to use the VersaFine and stamp my truck on the white cardstock here, along with the presents again. And then also I'm going to stamp the sentiment there. I'm going to use the circle die to cut out the sentiment. And then I'll use the coordinated dies to cut out those images as well. Okay, we got those done. Now the nice thing is, again, the die will cut out all the way to the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that Christmas tree die and cut out my Christmas tree. And then I did use the truck die to cut out the top part of my truck there, and then I just cut out the wheels, fussy cut them out. And then each of those presents I fussy cut out. We can see there's no edging, which is so nice, saves a lot of time. But for me to fussy cut them all out, I'm just gonna trim each of my pattern papers down so they're easier to grab. Okay, so everything's fussy cut out, and I did add acetate behind this window, and I was a little more careful. I didn't get a frosty window on this one. Now I'm just taking my this is my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. On the truck that I stamped on the white cardstock, I went ahead and colored in my wheels with my alcohol markers. And I'm just using my glue to secure my red polka dotted truck pattern there. And I did cut out that checkerboard paper with that falling snow background die. I'm just going to piece all of my images together here. And this is so fun. This is like puzzle piecing. I don't mind doing this at all. I not only cut out the presents, I also cut out the bows. So each of those presents have different colored ribbon on them. Now I'm adding glue to my stamped image there, and then I'm just going to piece all of them all together. I'm always so amazed when you're finished with the paper piecing that how fun and fantastic it looks. I think it looks so neat. But those are my presents and my ink stained hands. But okay, now we're going to build our scene. We're just going to do the exact same thing that we did with the other card, although this time instead of using gray cardstock, I used white for my embossed paper here. I'm going to arrange everything up. I did trim down my sentiment circle on the right side so it would fit flush. And for this card, I'm going to use a black card base as well. I'm adding a little bit of glossy accents, and then I did add a little bit of Wink Stella to the presents there. But that's it. Those are the 2 cards I made using the Truck Tidings stamp set. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and this gives you an idea if you have the stamp set. I know it's probably been out for a while. I wish you a fantastic day, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.